Making bread too. My starter's ready. I just did 520 grams of flour, and it's a mix between white and wheat. Just know that the wheat flour is heavier, so you don't want to add all wheat or you'll have a really dense loaf. And then I make all of my liquids equal 385. So with the honey. I put honey in it. You don't have to. Tastes good either way. So, and then I'll just put in my starter and it should float. So I'll show you that in a second. And there it is, just floating. That's when you know it's ready. So I'm gonna add this, mix it into a shaggy dough, just like we did before. And then I'm gonna let it sit for 30 minutes, stretch and fold 3 times, and then I'm gonna cover it with the plate upside down overnight, and in the morning I'll be able to shape it, and I'll put it, at that point I'll put it on parchment paper in a bowl and stick it in the fridge for a couple of hours to chill before I bake it and get a nice oven spring from that. So yep, you know the steps from here, and I guess I can take another video tomorrow if you want me to. Have a good night. Good morning. It's been about 10 hours since my last stretch and fold. This is what I've got. I'm gonna lightly flour my surface, just like we did with the buns. I'll scoot a lot of it to the side in case I need it, but try and use as little as possible. Got my, oops, sorry, that was loud, dough scraper here. It's going to be really sticky to work with, okay? So you will need a little flour, or I don't know, I don't usually use wet hands, and this, I don't want to add any more moisture than is already there. So I do use the flour. Some people don't. Okay, and just like with the buns that we did, have to move it around a little bit. So it doesn't stick. All right, flatten it out and roll it up on itself nice and tight. And the same motion we did with the little balls, we're doing with the big one. Kind of pressing down and building up at the same time. Now I'm going to leave it in this shape, and I'm going to put it on a piece of parchment. And I'm going to put it in a little bit smaller bowl so that it will hold its shape. We want these sides long, which you'll see in the next step. But pull the sides away so you don't get any parchment stuck in the dough. It doesn't really rise very much in the fridge, but it can rise a little. So just pull the sides away like that. I'll put my plate back on, and I'm going to put it in the fridge for a couple of hours, and then I'll show you the last step when we're there. Okay, we're back. I got my pan preheated, my Dutch oven. It's screaming hot. I set the oven at 450 for an hour. So, see all that steam? That's going to create a nice crust So I just take my, I hope you can see this okay. Just take my parchment. Actually, first score it if you don't want it to make a vent on its own. So I score it like that, just with a knife. You don't have to have any fancy tools. And then I just pick it up, the parchment, set it in there carefully, not to burn myself, obviously. And then I'm going to stick it in the oven for 20 minutes at 450. And then I'm going to take the lid off, turn the heat down to 425, and let it bake for 10 more minutes. And that's it. We have bread for dinner. Just make sure you let it cool before you slice it, because it might be gooey. Also, if you measure the temperature, it should be 200 degrees inside. And that I have found to be very helpful. But wait till it's completely cool to cut it. Anyway, I'll send you a picture of what it looks like when it's done. Have a good day. Talk to you later. Bye.